Welcome back, Drive Time Sports here on Extra Sports 1300. On Tuesday, November 6th, Peak Vista Community Health Centers is holding their 14th annual Breakfast of Champions to benefit their health centers, and each year they feature a gold medal Olympian who shares their inspirational story and its connection to healthcare. I have a couple guests in studio and then one very special guest on the line. Joining us in studio is Brenda Spector and Kelly Udermolen from Peak Vista Community Health Centers, and we'll talk to them in just a moment. And then joining us on the line is this year's keynote speaker. He has 8 Olympic medals, including a pair of golds. He is also an 8-time World Championship gold medalist. Speed skating legend Apolo Ohno is my guest. Apolo, pleasure to have you on. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me, guys.
I want to start with the why for you, Apolo. I know that in addition to speaking at this event, you're somebody who goes around and talks a lot about health, wellness. I know you have talked to many kids about underage drinking. So why is it so important for you to not just, live a healthy lifestyle, but also encourage others to do the same?
Well, I think, two things. One, because being an Olympic athlete my entire life, I think all of us as athletes, we all recognize the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle, not just physically, but mentally and even spiritually, right? Making sure that you've got a really healthy blend and balance, that you're happy doing whatever you're doing. And a lot of that comes from just the lifestyle that you live and also having access to the right type of food choices that you want to make. Me specifically, nutrition and recovery and all those elements that make up an Olympic athlete and Olympic champions, they were huge parts of my career. They were so important, in fact, that those are the things that I concentrated the most in the last 4 years when I was competing. And I just think in this given day, right, no matter if someone's youth, if they're over the age of 60, it doesn't really matter. But I think health has always been the single most important factor in all of our lives, regardless of success level, regardless of how much we've accomplished. At the end of the day, that is the true gift. And when our health deteriorates or we have a problem, everything else is put on hold. And so I think just really making sure that's an important component of your lifestyle, and also it's something that really impacts you the most, right? Your loved ones as well. So making sure that we're healthy, making sure we have the right type of education and decision-making ability to be able to make those types of decisions, to make sure that we have the proper, lifestyle choices in front of us, and also we have and can impact in the greatest way that we have the best quality of life. So I'm passionate about it, right? I believe that everyone and every person has always been faced with a choice, and no matter what those variables that get thrown at us in life, making sure that people have access to certain types of health care, which is obviously why I'm passionate about partnering up during this Breakfast of Champions with the Peak Vista, annual event that we're hosting. It's going to be fantastic, and it's always something that I've always had at the forefront of my mind.
You first came here to Colorado Springs at age 14. Is that right, Apolo?
It was actually age 15.
Oh, okay, age 15.
I moved to, upstate New York when I was 14 years old. I trained for less than a year there. Then I literally spent the remaining amount of time in Colorado Springs. I spent over a decade there training in the Olympic Training Center, and it really impacted my life in ways that I can't believe. I very much miss those mountains. I'm not based in Colorado anymore, but I always feel like I have a connection there, not only to the Olympic Training Center and the community and the family that was built there, but also the community locally in Colorado Springs, which has always supported the Olympic athletes, and it's been the home and real birthplace of many different types of athletic endeavors and achievements for everyone. So I've got a very close connection. I spent many summers riding my bike up and down all those beautiful mountains, and it's always going to be an impactful, important place for me.
Olympic gold medalist Apolo Ohno joining us here on Drive Time Sports. He'll be speaking at Peak Vista Community Health Center's Breakfast of Champions on Tuesday, November 6th. How vividly do you still remember that gold medal 1,500 meters that you had in Salt Lake City? Do you ever that first gold medal, do you ever forget it?
I don't think you ever forget any of these medals or any of the Olympic experiences. It was a long time ago, 2002. I'm talking 16 years ago, per se, right? It feels like such a long, long, long time. But at the end of the day, I first and foremost, I love the fact that I had the opportunity to even compete. The 1,500 meters, the 1,000 meters, all these very experiential layers of the chapters of my life have all been made possible, not because it was only me out there on the ice. I mean, there was many, many people who were involved, right? My coaches, my teammates, my training partners, my family, all of the different technical equipment team members who were part of us, and along with those who were our trainers and the guys who took care of our bodies when we got broken down. And it's really a team effort, not only the Olympic Training Center and the United States Olympic Committee, who are based there in Colorado Springs, but all of the other people who've put in the hours as well. So even though I was the only person who visually looked like I was standing on the podium, it really took a collective effort of many, many people all over the country to really support. And for that, I'm forever eternally grateful.
How much do you miss competing in the Olympics?
I miss it every day. People ask me that all the time. They ask me, do you miss skating? And the answer is always, frequently, every day of my life. It's very difficult, especially post-career, when you're retired from pursuit of the Olympic space, to find something that fuels you and drives you in the same intensity and the same perspective that the Olympic avenue did. But the reality is I don't think I'll ever find something that was like that in my life. So I have to replace it with as many activities and passion projects as I can. But it was such a huge part of shaping who I was in my character and my individual mindset towards life in general, that I take a lot of those life lessons that I learned throughout the Olympic space and throughout the rise and fall, the failures and the successes throughout sport, and I apply them towards whatever path and whatever challenge that I'm facing next.
You were into swimming quite a bit when you were younger, right? It was kind of the two sports,
Yeah.
and then you kind of veered towards skating. Do you think that if you had never been introduced to skating, or maybe you just didn't fall in love with it like you did, do you think that you would have been an Olympic swimmer?
I don't know if I would ever have made it to the Olympic Games for swimming, but I did want to swim when I was younger, and my father and I both thought that I actually was going to try to get a scholarship based on my swimming excellence. And then I just fell in love with the sport of short track speed skating, right? It was a sport that I had never seen before. I watched it on television. It seemed impossible and surreal that these athletes would lean over at these impossible angles wearing a 17 or 18-inch long blade on their foot that was 1 millimeter thick, razor sharp, and they'd spin around these, basically go in circles at like 35, 40 miles an hour. It looked amazing, all while wearing these outrageously, at the time, I was like, those are the coolest outfits I've ever seen in my life. They look like superhero figures. So I fell in love with short track, and I essentially fell out of love with swimming. And instead of being an in-the-water athlete, I was on top of frozen water. So it was much different.
I have heard legends about your Manitou Incline time. Do you remember how quickly you went up that thing?
Yeah. So we used to do these training sessions. And actually what I used to do, especially towards the latter end of my career, is I used to spend my off-season in Colorado Springs and train alone in the summer. So I would ride my bike from the Olympic Training Center to the Manitou Incline, do the Manitou Incline 2 times, sometimes 3 times, and then come home. And then when we would have specific training days, we would wear weight vests and do skating jumps up the Manitou Incline on one leg, on 2 legs, and that was a repetitive cycle. As a short track Olympic athlete, it was something that was hugely beneficial to us because of the physical attributes that you build throughout that process. And I think my fastest time was like somewhere in the 17.5-minute mark, something around there.
That's consistent with what I've heard. When people run into you on the street, is the first question about like Salt Lake City or Vancouver, or is it about Dancing with the Stars?
It depends on where I am and who I'm talking to. But
right.
I think I would say 50% of the time it's usually leading into dancing. And then the second question is usually, what was harder, Dancing with the Stars or the Olympics? Which I would, always have to say immediately that the Olympic space is significantly harder than a television show. Although the show was difficult, and wearing those outfits was, highly questionable at times. But it was, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, so if you feel like a superhero in your speed skating outfit, what did you feel like in your Dancing with the Stars outfits?
Fish out of water, to say the least. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it. I mean, yeah. I mean, dancing and ballroom dancing and Latin dancing is extremely hard, and no matter if you think you can dance or not, when you try those types of dances, you get a quick wake-up call, which I learned very quickly. I didn't want to dance in front of my high school reunion, let alone 20 million Americans. So, yeah, it takes a lot of courage.
And despite that, you were awesome at that too, which is what I've come to find out about you Olympic athletes. You're good at pretty much everything. Last thing before I let you run, Apolo, you mentioned it a little bit in the beginning, but I want to circle back around. For people who are going to come to this event, what can they expect? What is the message that you want to get across when you're speaking at events like this?
I think first and foremost that it always takes a team to build a champion, right? No one ever stands alone or solo. And just like the mission statements at Peak Vista, that this is their primary fundraising event, and their real mission is to provide healthcare and amazing healthcare to those who have access barriers, right? So people who don't have the ability to actually get these types of services. And look, no matter if you are an Olympic champion or you're someone who's facing a serious health issue or something related to trauma, anything in that regard, we all deserve and need and want the right to get care. That's a huge part of it, right? Health is our single most important aspect. No matter how much success we have, no matter how much money that we make, at the end of the day, it means nothing if we don't have our health or even have access to health care. So I really commend and am very proud and humbled to be a part of the event, especially it being in Colorado Springs, where I've got so much memory and support for over the years. It's something that I want to share with not only my story, but the struggles and trials and tribulations that we all face that I hope people can relate to, and the ability that we have as choices to make those decisions and our perceptions of those challenges in our lives. I think that's a huge component. So I'll speak about all these things on Tuesday, November 6th in the morning at the Broadmoor, and I'm excited to see many people who I've not met before and many friends that I've known for many, many years.
Paulo, excited to have you out here. Appreciate the time so much, and we'll see you on November 6th.
Thanks, Ryan.
Olympic gold medalist Apolo Ohno joining us here on Drive Time Sports. I want to continue in studio now. Joining me is Brenda Spector, social media and content coordinator, and Kelly Udermolen, director of communications for Peak Vista Community Health Centers. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me in studio today.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, we're excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you guys. So awesome stuff from Apolo. You guys did good. Although, if you set out in your mission statement is, okay, we're just going to grab gold medal athletes. I don't think you can go wrong, Kelly, at all with that lot. I mean, they're always going to be great. But Apolo, he's one of those guys that's a little bit bigger than his sport. And to have him in Colorado Springs, that's pretty cool.
We are so excited. Like you said, we've done this 14 years here within the Pikes Peak community. We serve the Pikes Peak community as well as the East Central Plains. We have 26 health centers serving over 92,000 patients. So anything that we can do to raise dollars to be able to give back and provide health care to the community that we love so dearly, we absolutely want to do. And we're just so excited that it's been successful every year.
Yeah, shout out to the Eastern Plains. That's where I grew up. So tell us a little bit. Obviously, Apolo is the main attraction here, but tell us a little bit more, what we can expect. This is at the Broadmoor, on November 6th. So fill in the blanks here. What else can people expect when they show up on November 6th? Most importantly, when do they need to show up on November 6th?
Well, I think it's important to try to purchase your tickets ahead of time. We are filling up seats really quickly. We're almost at capacity. So you can purchase a whole table, a half table, an individual seat, whatever you're able to do is much appreciated. And it's at 7:30 in the morning at the Broadmoor at the International Center. A great way to purchase tickets is to go to our website at peakvista.org. You'll see a picture of Apolo Ohno right there on our homepage. You can click that. You can purchase tickets online, or you can give our development department a call at 719-344-6605, and they can walk you through that process as well.
Very cool. And you touched on it a little bit. I think what you guys are doing at Peak Vista is unique when it comes to medicine. I mean, you guys aren't doing it the exact same way that other healthcare providers might do it. So, tell us a little bit about what makes you guys different and why, and what you're doing and why it's such a worthy cause to, be a part of this Breakfast for Champions and support Peak Vista.
Absolutely. So what makes Peak Vista so great is we're integrated health, right? So it's not just medical. We also cover dental and behavioral health. So it's really, we try to make it a one-stop shop for all of our patients. We accept Medicaid, Medicare, and really all private insurances. I think that's what we really try to get across, is that there are people who have jobs or in the working community, but they just don't make enough to either have health insurance or they need that surplus. That's when we come in. We have over 92,000 patients in our 26 health center locations, and it is so incredible to meet these patients and to have them come through. And really what I love about my job is that I get to hear from these patients, and they tell me, if it wasn't for Peak Vista, I would have never been able to control my diabetes, or my child would have never gotten immunizations. So really, anyone coming to the Breakfast of Champions is supporting this great cause for our community, and we just love it. We really love what we do.
Well, that's great, and I appreciate everything that you do. Obviously, I know a little bit better than most what you guys do on a day-to-day basis, so I certainly appreciate what you guys do and appreciate the event you're putting on. One more time, Kelly, the website for people to go and get tickets.
Of course. It's peakvista.org. And again, you can either click on the Give button, or there will be a picture of Apolo Ohno right there where you can click and go through and purchase tickets online. Like I said, individual tickets, or you can purchase an entire table if you've got a lot of friends or coworkers or anything like that you want to bring to help support the cause as well.
And it's really an exciting morning, and people will actually get a chance to meet Apolo and get a picture with him, which is really cool.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll definitely be there, and hopefully a lot of you will be out there as well. And also, while you guys are here on Academy, if you need some health care. Yeah, that was a terrible way to put it. If you needed some health care. But what's the address for you guys here in Colorado Springs?
Well, so like we said, we've got 26 different health centers. The best way to determine which health center is appropriate for you or which one is close to your location is to go to either our website, peakvista.org, or you can call us locally at 719-632-5700. And somebody can walk you through that process, and you can enroll as a patient, and it's really easy. And then, like I said, 26 different health centers. I think there's definitely enough care out there to assist anybody depending on their proximity and where they live.
Absolutely. We're always here for you.
Brenda Spector, Kelly Utermolen, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for what you guys do, and can't wait for November 6th.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for having us.
You bet. We're going to take a break and have more Drive Time Sports next on Extra Sports 1300.